we're going to see about giving a YouTube boost to a Puffy Fluffy Dog. We got a channel review coming right up. Welcome to our second ever paid channel review. So what is this? What's going on? On this channel, we will often do 30-minute free channel reviews during live streams, but we don't have a regular schedule for our live streams. So if you want to get a free channel review, you want to subscribe with notifications on, and if you join us early enough, you might get a free channel review, but that's kind of like playing the lottery as to whether or not you get it. We also have a paid option where basically for the price of 2 combos at your local fast food place, you can get a dedicated video like this one where I will review your channel and I will take a minimum of 45 to 60 minutes to give it a good in-depth review, and I will include action items for you. You can rewatch it as many times as you want. You can come back and look at it in a year's time and see how you've progressed. It might also get a little bit of traffic to your channel by having shared it here, so to support that, I will have a link to the channel being reviewed in the description, in the end card, and in the info card. So with that having been said, let's jump right into it and begin this channel review. So the channel we're reviewing today is called Puffy Fluffy Dog. So the way that I like to conduct these channel reviews is I go in as if I don't know anything about the channel, and then I review it from searching the channel name. Now that's very intentional because we don't often think of our channels as being something that comes up in search, but they are. And that's something that small YouTubers often forget about. So we often think about the SEO of our videos, but what about our channels? And so from there, I then dive into the full channel review. So with that having been said, let's start the clock, and I will begin the review by searching for the channel. Quick note, my YouTube might look a little different from yours. For one thing, I have premium, so I don't have to deal with ads. I have it in dark mode. And lastly, I have TubeBuddy installed, and I have a legend level account. TubeBuddy is something that I use every single day to manage my channel, and it's absolutely essential to use when I am doing these channel reviews. Now, the person who asked for this review, I know they already have it, so that's great. If you don't already have it, check the link down below. It is an affiliate link. There's free and paid versions. We talk about it in other videos on this channel that you can go watch tutorials on, but I strongly, strongly recommend you at least get the free version. When people come to me asking for help, that's always my first question. If they don't at least have the free version, I refer them to that before I kind of invest my time. So that having been said, let's take a look at some of the results here. So, you know, we got a lot of cute dog videos coming up, but basically there's only one channel that comes up with that name. So I would say that for this channel name, you've got it locked down quite well. You've got some strong SEO on your brand name. You own that brand, at least in terms of search. It's the second result, which is fantastic. So it is a picture of a dog. And one thing that other channels often struggle with is making sure that their channel purpose, genre, subject matter is clear. And with this, it is crystal clear. The name says what you need to know. It's got a cute Puffy Fluffy Dog as the profile picture. It's very clear. So let's begin with the channel description here. It commits right at the beginning one of what I consider to be kind of a cardinal sin of channel description, because it begins with welcome to. And so this is just general advice to everyone who might have that at the beginning of their channel description. It's kind of a waste of space. The words welcome to are not words that people are searching, and if they are, they're not going to find your channel. It's far too generic a term. It's not nearly specific enough, and it doesn't provide any information. People know that this is a YouTube channel they're looking at. You don't need to identify it as such. And so it says, welcome to Bella's official YouTube channel. So the only word in that first sentence that is really SEO friendly at all is Bella. Now, the problem is that that is a relatively common name. A lot of fictional characters have that name. So what I would suggest is we keep that, but we need to add something to it. And so, again, it's Puffy Fluffy Dog is the channel name. So perhaps that first sentence is, Bella is a Puffy Fluffy Dog. It could be just that simple, but that serves two purposes. One, it tells people right away what the channel is about. Because if I just look at it, it says, welcome to Bella's official YouTube channel. This could be a makeup channel if I'm going just from the text. And you never know how people are going to encounter different elements of your channel, whether it's your profile picture, your name, channel description, whatever. They can appear in isolation in different parts of the web. So we want them all to be tip-top. So what I would say is, yeah, Bella is a Puffy Fluffy Dog. Now, the next sentence here begins, I share my stories with you and make funny videos to bring smile and. So grammatically, to bring smile doesn't sound quite right. To bring smiles or to make you smile might be more grammatically correct there. And so again, looking at this, I share my not very search friendly. They're very generic terms, and you're not descriptive either. They don't tell the audience what your channel is about. And those are sort of the two goals you want to keep in mind when writing things like a channel description. A lot of people, when they go to create their channel, they see the channel description as a frustrating step that they have to get past. It's like, if you were creating a dating profile on an app, or, a profile anywhere, and you didn't go there to write a description about yourself. I don't think there are people out there in the world that are like, oh, I get to write a description. This is fantastic. I'm so excited. I don't think that person really exists, and if they are, there are few of them. And so most people, I think, look at it as a tedious, annoying thing they have to do, because you join YouTube to make and upload videos, to share videos, maybe to become famous. Who knows what your goals are? But writing about yourself is probably not super high up there. If you wanted to do that, you would have like a live journal or a blog or something. A lot of people don't put a lot of effort into that. And this is one of the first things that I talk about, because once you set it, you can kind of forget it unless your channel evolves over time. So it's a short-term investment, but they could have a big payoff in terms of your search rankings for your channel name and helping people understand what your channel is about. As well, the SEO can touch into how your videos perform as well. If you use the same keywords in your channel description as you do in video descriptions, it improves the algorithm's confidence that it knows what your channel is about. The more confident the algorithm is, the more people it will show your channel and your videos to. So that's very important. So I share my stories with you and make funny videos. So it could be Bella's Puffy Fluffy Dog stories and funny videos could be your first sentence. It has a lot of keywords in there that would be good. Bella, Puffy Fluffy Dog, stories, funny videos, things like that. It's good for SEO, but it also is good because it describes to the human who might be reading it what your channel is about in an instant. And then you can pivot from there. One of the things that I often talk about when going on past that first sentence in your channel description, I do recommend talking about your why whenever possible. This is Simon Sinek's book, Start With Why. Strongly recommend you check it out, or maybe one of his TED Talks. If you can articulate why you have a channel in a simple sentence, if it can have meaning beyond just, I make videos about this. Why do you do it? Why do you put in that effort? Why did you buy me lunch so I could do this channel review? That takes money and effort. And so that's great that you're putting that in. So in the latter part of your channel description, if you can identify that clearly, then it can form an emotional attachment with the audience if they have similar beliefs that would match yours. So, for example, I have two channels. I have Vacation Impossible. I happen to have it, in the back there. And so what we're about is we believe that travel is good and more travel is better. We want to show you how to do it cheaply so you can do more of it. Pretty straightforward. On this channel, we believe that YouTube should be a competition between great ideas and hard work, not knowing a technical trick. So we're here to show everyone the technical tricks. If everyone's equipped with those, then it becomes a marketplace of ideas. And so we want to help you grow your channel and get those technical things out of the way so you can empower yourself to do better. So things like that, I think, are their value statements that people can identify with. And so if you're trying to bring smiles to people's faces, which is fantastic, brighten their day, especially in these particular times, that is a very noble goal. So I think talking about that is a good instinct, and you can continue to do so, I would say, in the second sentence. The first sentence has to get them right away. Audiences are lazy. People are lazy. It's efficiency is what it is. And so if you can tell people what you're about in an instant and intrigue them in an instant, that is what you want to do at the very beginning, because you'll notice here that it only gives you 2 lines before it starts to cut you off. So that's enough about the channel description for now. We might take a little look at it later, time permitting, but let's dive into the channel and see what we've got here. Let's start from the very top. The banner is really good. It's got a strong color scheme. It jumps out at you. It's bright, it's fun, it's playful. I like that. One thing that I might suggest for a little bit more brand consistency to make it a little bit more recognizable, you've got this purple-pink motif going on in your your banner, but you don't have elements of that in your profile picture. So what I would suggest you do is you have the picture of the dog with the background. Now, it might be a little hard because it's white on white, but if you can basically cut the dog out of the background and then make the background purple like you've done in your banner to a degree, I think the dog looking straight is good, like keep that image, but if you can have that purple element in the background, then it's a little bit more easily identifiable. The other thing is anyone can take a picture of their dog and post it as a profile picture. People do that on Facebook and dating apps all the time, from what I'm told. So, and Twitter and all the different social media apps, it's like, I'm curious about this person. Here's a picture of their dog. Okay, I kind of wanted to know what they look like, but whatever. And so that is a relatively common thing. But someone who takes the time to have a color scheme, to have a little splash of color behind, to have that very careful outline of the subject shows a little bit more professional effort. And so when I see something like that versus a picture of a dog, it's a very good picture. It looks professionally done, but someone could have just had some good luck taking a picture with their camera. I've had the odd picture I've taken with my cell phone where it actually kind of came out looking super professional, and I was surprised pleasantly. So with that little bit of extra touch, I think it shows that you're putting some effort in, makes your channel look slightly more professional, and then people might be more willing to invest their time to watch, because that's ultimately what we're asking for on YouTube. We want people to give their limited, precious, valuable time to spend with us to watch our videos. So if we can show them that we spent time putting our best effort into it, rather than just, we'll film anything, upload it, and maybe we'll get rich and famous, there's a lot of that out there. And so you need to distinguish yourself and differentiate yourself from that kind of lazier type of content. Sorry to put it that way, a little salty about it, but it kind of gives YouTubers a bad name, the people who really put the effort in, to the low effort people, and we're all YouTubers. So it's kind of like, stand out in a crowd. That's one of the things you need to do in search, for example. So I think adding that element might help. So looking at this, again, it says, welcome to Bella's channel. Now, SEO is not an issue in images, at least not at the moment. I don't think that YouTube or Google or any search engine is parsing the text in the images for search just yet. But that having been said, again, welcome to is conversational. If you are welcoming someone to your house or your restaurant, your store, saying welcome is fine. I don't know that we necessarily need to do that in our banners. Part of the reason behind that is we don't have a lot of space, and we want to maximize the usage of the space, and again, lazy people. So welcome to and channel are not necessary words in the banner, I think. And also the font you're using for welcome to Bella's channel, it looks okay on desktop, but it's a little hard to read. On mobile, it would be very hard to read, that kind of a cursive type font. Whereas Puffy Fluffy Dog, now that is a solid block font. That looks good. That would scale nicely. I think that switching between fonts in one image is not always a great idea. So I would say keep the font that you're using for Puffy Fluffy Dog, and maybe turn that white or purple, because the introduction of this mustard yellow makes it a little hard to look at. Now, I'm not a design expert necessarily, but as an audience person, as a potential viewer, it makes it a little harder to read, and it goes contrary to the color scheme that's been established with the purple and the pink and the white. And so I would keep with those three colors as your primary colors, and maybe not so much introduce this mustard yellow. So I'm just thinking about what it could say instead. You could just say Bella the Puffy Fluffy Dog. That might be enough, because people will know it's a channel. And so you don't necessarily need to say channel. So I see you've got a couple social media links set up here. You've got your Instagram and your Facebook, and they've both been set up properly because the icons are displaying. So the links are good. Let me just take a quick look here to make sure that this is solid. See, again, this image, if you had that purple highlight behind it, then across social media platforms, it would very consistently, very clearly be the same brand. It's all about the Puffy Fluffy Dog. So in that instance, why is that important? Part of why that's important is you'll know that there are accounts that get verified on various social media platforms. They get a little blue check mark or something to that effect. One of the things that a lot of these platforms look at when considering do I give them the check mark or not is, are they consistently on a multitude of platforms? And if they are they posting the same content with the same kind of look? And if you are consistent and brand professional in that way, then you're more likely to get verified. And that is a huge thing because it gives you some cachet. Again, differentiates you, helps you stand out from the crowd. So just looking back here at the channel, it appears that you're hiding your subscriber count. Now, this has been a bit of a fad for the last few months that a lot of people have been saying, oh, I hid my subscriber count, and suddenly I took off. I don't subscribe to that idea, pardon the pun. I think that it's difficult to identify a single cause for gaining more subscribers. And I don't know that people can, even if they knew, attribute it unless they did nothing else. They just hit their subscriber count and posted no new videos, and then it took off. That's the only time that it would be conclusive. And I haven't seen anything conclusive in that way. I recommend sharing your subscriber count for a couple of reasons. It is more transparent and open. If somebody like myself comes along and wants to do a review, it provides me more useful information to help provide feedback on your channel. But more importantly than that, it brings people along on the journey. So I think that you'll want to do that because they like seeing that number go up and they feel part of the crowd. And my personal belief is that if I see a channel with a lot of subscribers, then that's sometimes what's known as social proof. And so it's like, oh, they must be pretty good. And if I see a low subscriber count channel, however you define that, whether it's less than 1,000 or less than 100 or whatever, sometimes I think, well, I can be an early supporter of this person. A lot of people like to support, it's interesting. You want to be at the cool party and you want to support an underdog. And so I don't think there's a downside to sharing your subscriber count. I don't know that there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, you only have 256 subscribers. I love the video and you're entertaining and I want to watch more, but I'm not subscribing because that number is too low. I don't think that happens. And I don't think the opposite happens either. It's like, oh, there's 10,000 people who like this. Why would no? I mean, I love it, but I'm not going to. I don't think that it has a big impact. So my personal recommendation: share your subscriber number so that your viewers can come along in the journey with you, and it's more transparent. When I'm looking to partner with someone, for example, and I see that they're hiding their metrics, that makes me a little hesitant. I would be a little less likely to collaborate with someone who was concealing that information. So that's just some things to think about. Ultimately, of course, all of this is your choice. Follow or don't follow this advice as you see fit, but it's your dime, so I'm going to give you everything I can. So just looking back again at the Instagram setup here, if you have more than 100 subscribers, and I don't know if that's the case or not, then this link here, you could actually get something called a custom URL. Once you hit 100 subscribers, and a couple of days has passed, so they don't drop off, and they passed an audit through YouTube, basically, YouTube will activate the option where you can have a custom URL. So instead of this youtube.com/channel/UCQUKKXSO1J, you get the idea. Instead of that random collection of characters, you get to choose your own name. Now, it can't necessarily be anything. They give you some preset options and you get to pick, maybe modify. But if you were, let's say, youtube.com/Puffy Fluffy Dog, wouldn't that be much better? And so actually, I'm going to go and take a look here to see if there is such a channel. There is not. So that means that URL is available. And so if you don't yet have 100 subscribers, I think that would be an important push goal for you to have right now. The sooner you get it, the sooner you lock down that URL so somebody else doesn't get it. And then it makes it easier to share your channel. And it looks more professional when you put it in social media links like on Instagram. And for example, you can get promotional items, like maybe you want to get some business cards I have for my Vacation Impossible channel. I've even got this square one here. And one of the things that I have on it is youtube.com/Vacation Impossible. It's a little blurry there, but having it look like that looks much more professional. So once you've got your custom URL, if you want to put a bumper sticker on your car, for example, there's a variety of different things that you could have. I have a notepad here. So one time I was collaborating with Angela Lynn on my Vacation Impossible channel, and I brought this along to take notes because we were doing a scavenger hunt. And at the bottom, there's the YouTube logo and then my channel name. It isn't a URL, but if you typed in youtube.com/my channel name, it would take you to my channel. So you can get a lot of cool stuff like this that can be a really effective kind of guerrilla marketing method, even if you don't use it a lot. I mean, these things aren't very expensive. I got my my cards from Vistaprint. you can get quite a bit of stuff even for like $100. You can get a bunch of different things. And normally I order about that much, so the shipping's worthwhile because it's like $12 shipping or whatever. But you can get quite a bit, and so that's important for a couple of reasons. For example, here's a funny story. We're driving down the street here in Vancouver where I live one day, and I started getting a comment on one of my YouTube videos, and I got a notification on my phone, and it said, "We're driving behind you right now down Kingsway," and sure enough, we were on Kingsway. And so they went to our channel from the bumper sticker and then commented on a video. That doesn't happen very often, but that was kind of cool. And so like, hey, one more viewer, maybe one more subscriber, why not? Another interesting story where this kind of thing becomes relevant. I was dining on a cruise ship. This actually happened a couple of times. And I was talking with one of the other people on my channel. We were talking about what we were going to record the next day or what we did the previous day or what have you. And there's been a couple of times where someone has come up to us and said, "Hey, I'm sorry to interrupt, but are you videographers? Are you filming this trip? Or do you provide a service? Do you film other people's vacations? Like, what do you?" And so that started up a conversation. And the first couple times it happened, I did not yet have business cards. And they asked me, "Do you have a card?" And I had to say no. And internally, I'm screaming and kicking myself because I missed that opportunity. It's like Wayne Gretzky says, you miss 100% of all the shots you don't take. I was not ready to take that shot. Now I am. Now you encounter me on a cruise ship or walking down the street or whatever, I got business cards on me. If I get talking about my YouTube channel, and I don't try to be obnoxious about it, but if it comes up organically in conversation and someone says, "Hey, do you have a card?" Now I'm ready. But I didn't want to do that until I had my custom URL, because that long version of the channel name, I mean, are people really going to type all that in? Are they going to get every character pitch perfect so they actually get to your channel? So that's something to consider. But you've linked your Instagram effectively, so that's good. Let's check your Facebook. And yeah, you've got a page set up here. That's kind of interesting. When it first loaded, that looked perfect. You got this purple spot at the top. I think that very effective banner placement, actually, for your page here. So that's very good. So excellent. That is set up properly. And so we have your section here. Let's actually first, I'm going to take a look at Channelytics. Now, this is a feature of TubeBuddy, and so with the browser plugin installed, I have this option over here, Channelytics. Just going to take a little look at some of the additional information TubeBuddy lets me see about your channel. This function, this feature is part of the free version of TubeBuddy. You don't have to pay for this part. So let's see here. You got a little over 1,000 views. You've got 12 videos. And in the last 30 days, you got 181 views, and you've uploaded 5 videos. So what that tells me is you're starting to take your channel a little bit more seriously, which is great. Down here, I can see the keywords associated with your channel. And you've got some really good ones here. White mini poodle, poodle dog breed, poodle dog videos, fluffy dog breed, funny dog fails, funny dog surprise reaction, floof dog. That's kind of cool. So the one thing that I'm not seeing here is your actual full channel name. Now, it might feel redundant, but when it comes to SEO, some redundancy across areas is good. You don't want to put the same keyword in the same thing more than once, but in different areas, yes. So I would recommend adding your actual channel name here to the keywords, because I'm not seeing it at the moment. And so I think you're doing pretty good on your channel keywords. You could add a couple more. You could do some keyword research on them if you wanted to. In TubeBuddy, you can do that just by clicking here. There's the Keyword Explorer. You could go in and research things like your channel name, and you can see, let's go unweighted so it's not all about my channel's perspective. And so it might suggest other related searches. It gives you an idea of how much competition there is. In this case, not much at all. The search volume's kind of on the low side, though, but you could try different things. You could try shorter versions, which generally don't work quite as well, but we can make it plural. You can play around with this to see what things... Oh, there we go. Fluffy Dog scores an excellent at 95. So what you're going to want to do is go in here and put in Fluffy Dogs. I don't see Fluffy Dogs necessarily. So there you go. Add Puffy Fluffy Dog and Fluffy Dogs as 2 additional channel keywords. That would be a good idea. So ticking along here... I don't have any subscriber data because you're hiding your subscriber growth, which ties a hand behind me a little bit. Okay, so I see that it's since the end of March. You've kind of been doing a bit of a push, never more than 1 video per day, which is good. People ask all the time, what's a good frequency of upload? I suggest a minimum of once per week and a maximum of once per day. And you're adhering to that, at least recently, since I imagine you're probably taking your channel a bit more seriously now, which is good. And so this lines up a little bit with some of what you had said to me. You'd messaged me and you said that you were putting out videos and you weren't getting views. And so you are getting little bits of views here and there, 19 views there, 21 views there, not a whole lot. So let's see what we can do about that. But this is just some useful information. One of the things you can also use this to do is you could check out other channels in your niche, and you could even copy some of the keywords to a list that you could then consider doing research on, maybe adding to your own, however you see fit. So that's some Channelytics analysis there. So it's interesting to me that the thing that appears top on your channel here is Shorts. Now, Shorts is a new feature. Whether or not it will be a fad, only time will tell. It's a little challenging because it's a little confusing. I'll try to make this make some sense. In terms of Shorts, they have to be 60 seconds or less. They have to contain the hashtag Shorts, and they have to be shot vertically. And so that will make it potentially be shown on mobile devices in the mobile app on what's known as the Shorts shelf. This would be a row of things in the app that would include things like stories and shorts. And so because not a lot of people are necessarily using it or using it very effectively, there could be an opportunity here to find new audience. But when people watch things through the mobile app and it's on the Shorts shelf, if they go that way, the videos are not monetized for you. YouTube might make some money off of it, but they're not going to share it with you. And the watch time you get from people watching it on the shelf in the mobile app does not count towards monetization. Now, if someone were to come to your channel on desktop or through search or other means and click on it this way, yes, the watch time that way counts. So it has some benefits and some limited areas as well in terms of monetization and watch time. A lot of people have been using it to try and just get their content in front of more eyes and then maybe use that to drive more subscribers. So that's somewhat its purpose. So that having been said, you have the Shorts here. It's okay to have the Shorts, but what I would recommend is maybe it's a little premature because, as you can see, you only have 2 Shorts. I would wait until you have 6. At that point, then add the row to your channel, because right now it seems kind of incomplete. So you might ask yourself, well, what should be there? At the top of your channel, what I strongly recommend having is a channel trailer. Now, that can be challenging for a younger channel. I'm just going to hop over to the About screen here to see how this channel is. Okay, well, you've been on the platform since 2018, but I think only uploading more seriously recently. So it can be a bit of a challenge when you're first starting. But I think having a channel trailer is a really good idea. So what do you want to do to create a channel trailer? A channel trailer will generally run between 30 and 90 seconds. So we're talking a half a minute to a minute and a half. And what you're going to want to do there, my recommendation is if you've got some great footage of, in this case, Bella. If you've got some great little clips, you can create a little clip reel, sometimes known as a sizzle reel. It's the best stuff you've got. Put in really quick cuts, that sort of thing. And then you can either keep the original audio or replace it or just add music to it. If you're looking for background music, a service I strongly recommend is Epidemic Sound. I'll include a link in the description. It gives you a free 30-day trial where every video you upload during that 30 days, you'll have the full rights to forever. You can't use their music after that on new videos unless you pay for a license. But for those 30 days, hey, it'll be free. Why not give it a try? And that would be maybe a great way to make your channel trailer now. Another option, if you don't want to go the music route, or again, maybe in addition to the music, is you could have a voiceover. Where, you remember earlier, I was talking about the why of my 2 channels. Got a, Simon Sinek, strongly recommend the book. I'll have a link in the description for Amazon. It'll be an affiliate link because it's, it's YouTube. It's me. But I strongly recommend it, even if you don't want to buy the book. Check out his TED Talk. And when you're able to articulate that, articulate it with words. Say it as the voiceover for a channel trailer. If you want an example of that, go check out Vacation Impossible. I have that's exactly what I did. I put a bunch of clips of some of our crazy adventures, the Coast Guard rescuing migrants, us on like water roller coasters, all sorts of stuff, with pretty quick cuts. We go through a body slide that goes through a shark tank, for example. Clips of all of that, and then I have a voiceover saying what we're about. I say, we believe that travel is good and more travel is better. Come join us on our journey, and we'll show you how to do it cheaply and more often, and see some new and interesting things. Something like that. I forget the exact words that I used. But feel free to go look at that, possibly as some inspiration, kind of a template idea, where you can talk about what people will get from your channel, what's in it for them, and why do you do it? So that they see, oh, I get this, and I'm part of maybe this larger purpose. That is a 1-2 punch that can really potentially garner you what's known as true fans, the fans that'll watch everything you put out, buy everything you sell. Those are precious. And people often get to that point because they form an emotional bond, they share your values, and they want to support you to where you're trying to get to. So, I would strongly recommend having a channel trailer. Now, that you can set as at the top of your channel here, and that will generally autoplay, so it gets you some free views and some free watch time. Autoplay, some people don't like autoplay, but it's a standard with YouTube channel trailers. So I think that it's part of the norm. It's what people expect. They've come to expect ads. They've come to expect suggested videos, people asking you to like and subscribe. Speaking of which, if anyone watching this is finding this useful, please give it a like. That way I'll know to do more of this. And remember to subscribe with notifications on to potentially get a free channel review during our live stream. Little plugs like that. People are used to that. It's part of the culture, so they don't generally get upset with it. So use it to your maximum advantage. And then you can also set that same space to people if they are already subscribed. Rather than seeing your channel trailer, you can have what's known as a featured video. And again, I do this over on Vacation Impossible, so you can go look at it unsubscribed, then subscribe, and see how it's different going back. It's a different thing. Instead of the channel trailer, it's a video that I think a lot of my audience would enjoy if they didn't happen to encounter it through notifications, recommendations, other things. So this is the 30-minute mark of the channel review. So I just point out that if this was a free one during a live stream, this is where I would stop. But since it is a paid review, we're going to keep going for another 15 to 30 minutes. So stay with us. So that's what you're going to want at the top. Another thing that you can do, even though you have very few videos, but you can bulk up your channel a little bit by adding an additional row, other than what I just suggested, of popular uploads. Now, this is very easy. When you go in, I've got a video actually on this channel tutorial that shows you how to get into this area. But basically, when you're logged in, you can click Customize Channel, and you can add a row. And what you're going to want to do is add a horizontal row of a single playlist and choose Popular Uploads. And so what this will be is it will always show the 6 most popular videos on your channel. What do I mean by popular? That is specifically the view count, the lifetime view count. It's not necessarily what people are watching recently, but it's the videos that have gotten the most views over their entire life thus far. And the thing is, once you set it, you don't have to touch it again. This is a set it and forget it thing. It's just a few little clicks, and it'll keep performing and working for you in the background, automated for the rest of the life of your channel, which is very nice. So one of those low effort, big win potential things you can do. So when you do that, as different videos become more popular, so as one video gets more views, maybe it'll take over the #1 spot. It automatically does all that. It's an automatic function. So I recommend having that maybe underneath your uploads. Before I suggest more about your channel layout, I'm just going to take a look at your playlist to see what kind of playlists you have. So you've got your Shorts playlist, which is interesting. I'm seeing 3 things on the playlist, but only 2 here on the channel homepage. I'm not sure what that's all about. Maybe it just hasn't updated or something. Well, 5 days ago it says. That's weird. I'm just actually going to jump in here for a second and take a look. Huh. I don't fully understand why that's not showing on your main channel. That's a little weird. So let's see, you got dog talking, dog wall challenge, and my dog food challenge. And so what I'm seeing here is that all of these playlists have less than 6 videos. Dog talking is getting close, it has 5. Once one of these hits 6, then you're going to want to add it to your home screen. And so for that, let's say that you put out video number 6 in the dog talking challenge video series, whatever that is. What I would do is I would have my channel trailer, Then I'd have my uploads. Then I would have the dog talking playlist. And then underneath that, I would have my popular uploads. Because as you probably know, because you've got it here, uploads is just the most recently uploaded videos. So it isn't necessarily structured in any kind of storytelling way, where a playlist might be. So that's something to consider. Let's also, since we're on the subject of playlists, let's go dive in here for a second. One thing I notice, your playlist here has no description. And it also has no views as a playlist. The individual videos have gotten views on their own, but no one's actually come in and watched this playlist yet. And I think the fact that it has no description is related to the fact that it has no views. For one thing, it's just YouTube Shorts. That has no SEO value practically at all. Nobody is searching the word YouTube on YouTube unless it's part of a much longer search string, which this isn't. And so what I would suggest is Fluffy Dog Shorts. Rename it to something like that, or some iteration therein. So then at least you get the Fluffy Dog keywords in the title. Then what I'm also suggesting you do is add a description to this playlist that uses the same words as the title and more. Now, you want to use these in organic, natural, easy to read sentences. You don't just want to have tons of keywords. That's something that's known as keyword stuffing and can actually get you in trouble with YouTube. So it can't just be a block of words that don't read as sentences. But if you have a sentence or two or three in the description of your playlist that use that use the exact same keywords intermittently or as one thing and use synonyms, that's great. So it could be, hey, a collection of quick short videos of a fluffy dog Bella to keep you smiling and make you laugh. Something like that. And if any of my suggestions you want to use, I officially give you permission. So don't feel like you need to credit me or anything, although hey, if you like, I'll take it. So playlists, it's good that you have playlists, and it's important to have playlists, but again, no description on the dog talking playlist. So I'm thinking this is going to be a consistent thing. Okay, here we do. The dog wall challenge, it says my dog reaction to wall challenge. It's a little awkward. It doesn't really make it fully, it doesn't really describe what the wall challenge is. From the thumbnail, I'm guessing it's making the dog jump over something or get through something. I think I've seen cat versions of this. I'm more of a cat person than a dog person. Please don't hold it against me. But you'll notice here that this is more a descriptive title, Dog Wall Challenge, and it has a description of sorts. It's a little short. I think it should be 2 to 3 times longer than it is. And I think part of what it could just be is explaining what the wall challenge is, because that's going to hit a lot of keywords. And it'll make sense to people who don't necessarily know what that is. Your new unfamiliar audience who could become your new true fans and subscribers. But you'll notice that this playlist does have a couple of views. And it could be because it's a more descriptive, SEO-friendly title, and it has a description. Now let's take a look at this one here. And again, no description. So a little descriptive on the title, more so than YouTube Shorts, absolutely. But there you have it. So that's just some playlist suggestions there. And of course, eventually over time, as you create more and more videos and have more playlists, you're going to potentially have more playlists with 6 or more videos. So later in the life and growth of your channel, at some point, you'll need to curate them. And so you're probably not going to want more than 3 to 5 playlists on your homepage. And then after a point, you're going to have to think, okay, what do I really want people to see? What gets me more subscribers? You can look at your analytics. What gets me more views? You can look at the view count. Or maybe it's something like it's a video that doesn't get a lot of views, but you know people will enjoy if they saw it. Maybe something with a high retention percentage. Something like that. It's like, oh, if only more people saw it, the people who do see it watch it to the end, but not enough people see it. Those are some things to consider about what to put on your homepage here. And one thing that I suspect I don't need to tell you, but I'll mention it just the same for you or anyone else who's watching, every video you upload should be in a playlist. And a video can be in more than one playlist. And so sometimes you might want to consider creating playlists based on search terms. So that if you have, talking dog videos, that could be something that somebody searches for. And so that would make, and you have it as a great playlist name idea, or something else. So just something to consider. Let's take a look at these thumbnails for a second and give these a look. So the first one is, this is really effective, I think. You've got some outlines here. It looks very professional. You got sort of the color on the side. I think this is pretty good. I think it explains what it's about. The shorts, however, don't look like they have, well, maybe this one does. The unboxing looks like it has a bit of a thumbnail. One thing that you want to consider for your shorts thumbnails is you want a thumbnail that will work both on desktop, landscape, and also in sort of the portrait vertical look. So an image where the vertical part on its own makes sense, but will also look professional with the whole thing. And so that's something I would recommend in terms of creating custom thumbnails here. I'm going to just click in here to look at some stuff. I'm not going to watch the video because I don't want no copyright issues or anything. I just want to look. I've got my Videolytics bar up here on the right-hand side. This is part of, again, one of the free features of TubeBuddy. So if you don't have this, get it. It's free. Link is below in the description. And so what I can see here is it does look like you had an independent thumbnail, so that's good. But you might want to adjust it. And so let's see here. No comments to pin yet, but you've liked it. You got a like on Facebook. You have only 3 tags here, so you're really going to want to bulk that up. That's one of the things that TubeBuddy's great for. It will help suggest tags. Another thing that you could do is you could go look at other popular videos in this niche, and with the TubeBuddy browser plugin installed, see the tags they used, potentially copy them to a clipboard or to the video or what have you. When it comes to tags, an important caveat, you need to make sure that the tags are accurate. You can't just put in tags, like if you put in Fortnite, then you could get in trouble for having misleading content. But if you wanted to put in, cute dog video, dog with nothing to do, bored dog, whatever, you could put that in there as tags. And again, you might want to consider doing a little bit of research on the tags before you do it. So let's see, bored dog, for example. Anyways, you can do that on your own time. You can search things like bored dog, dog with nothing to do, whatever. It'll have suggested other tags, and you can see how they work. What the Keyword Explorer tool does is it looks at the search volume and the competition and combines those two in a single number so you can compare different search terms just using single numbers. Very easy. Let's see if you've shared this on Reddit. I suspect maybe you haven't. Yeah, okay. So again, one thing, well, there's a couple options here. One thing that I want to mention is Small YouTubers Boost does have a subreddit where you can go and you can share your videos there with sort of comfort. It's like a sandbox. Reddit can be kind of a scary place. People, like for example, one of the first times I ever posted on Reddit, I joined some travel subreddit, I don't remember which one, and it had a bunch of rules. One rule was you can only post content that you've made yourself, and another rule was no self-promotion. And if you can explain to me how I can do both of those things at the same time, then you're smarter than I am. I was banned within 15 seconds from that subreddit. Got a pretty nasty automated message calling me a spammer or something, I don't know. And that kind of thing can scare people off of Reddit, I think, very understandably. So what we've created here with Small YouTubers Boost subreddit is a place where you can experiment. You can see how a text post looks versus, posting as a link. You can see how other people are sharing things. And so it's sort of a safe space where you can experiment before going into those other subreddits. But if you are ready to share, one of the things you can do is, again, using this Videolytic tool. If you find a successful video in your niche on a similar subject and you see where it's been shared on Reddit, then maybe you can find some subreddits that are friendly to your content and allow sharing. And then you might be able to go and share your content there. You said one of your top priorities is getting views and you're not pleased with how many views you've been getting. That can be a very effective method of getting more views. Let's see if this has been shared on Twitter. It hasn't been shared on Twitter. So again, what I would recommend if you don't have a Twitter account is create one in the name of your channel. And you can very easily, from your YouTube video, just click the share button here and then you share to Twitter. And then it just comes up for you. It's super easy. So you don't have to put a lot of time into it necessarily. And so, when I say, oh, you got to be on Twitter, people are like, oh God, another platform. Go and create the account and then just do that sharing for now. Even if that's all you do, you never know who might stumble across your stuff. And again, you can use this Videolytics tool to look at popular videos in your niche, see how they were shared. What kind of hashtags were used? Were they shared in response to questions, or were they their own separate tweets? Were they part of a conversation? Were images attached? How did they share it? What words did they use? And so you can kind of see what seems to work and then make a decision for yourself. And of course, we've got the best practices here, which is something I recommend everyone follow. Some videos are too short to add an end screen, so you wouldn't necessarily be able to on something this short. And then once you get a comment, of course, you're going to want to heart and comment, or you're going to want to heart and pin any comment that you like. I mean, heart all the comments that are nice, that you like, that are positive, and then pin one that you like above all. And this video is too short to add chapters, but these are just some things to consider on some of your other videos. And you'll notice here, your SEO score on this is literally 0. No tags in the title and the description, because your description is just hashtag shorts. At the very least, nothing to do should appear in your description as well. The title of your video should also appear in your description and in your tags. That is important steps into what I call keyword alignment. Now, that's like level 1 keyword alignment. If you want to go next level, you want to say the words, you want to caption the video accurately, you want it in the title, the description, and the tags, and then you want to try to work those words into the comments when you're replying to people. Then you have full keyword alignment. If that also happens to be keywords that appear in your channel keywords, for example, or even perhaps your channel name, like Puffy Fluffy Dog, like your video title here could be Puffy Fluffy Dog has nothing to do. And then you just copy that in all those other places I just mentioned, along with, I think, a fulsome description. I think you're going to want 1 to 3 sentences minimum on this video saying what it's about. Even though it's only a 15-second video, it may be a short, but it's still a video. And it can still show up in search and perform like any other video would. I think one of the things that people think about shorts is that maybe it's easy. And maybe it is in some regard. It's not a very long video, doesn't necessarily require editing. You can just shoot it on your phone and upload right away. There's parts of it that are easier, but that doesn't mean we can neglect all the things we should be doing for all of our videos, because it is, while it is a short, it is also a video. You want it to perform on both fronts. Tags and title, tags and description, total character tags, title, words, and description. So there's a lot there. There's a lot of opportunity there, which is good. So there's a lot of potential growth that you can have by just doing some of those things. Looking at sort of the thumbnails as well, it's interesting because, yeah, the dog treats here doesn't show up there yet. It might be that it's not been picked up by the shorts thing. When I upload a short on my channel, it normally takes 3 to 5 days before it starts getting any traffic from the shorts shelf. So maybe that's part of it. I'm not sure. That's a little suggestive. Guess what? This packaging for. See, that's a little tricky. Whenever possible, you want to have like proper grammar, but the conflicting push on that for thumbnails is you want to have as few words as possible so you can make them as big and as easy to read as possible. So in this, I would almost say, guess what this is, instead of guess what this packaging for, because that's not a proper English sentence. Guess what this packaging is for would be a proper English sentence, but just guess what this is. And then I think the rest of it is fine. But that way, if it's guess what this is, then you can make this is larger, because right now this is very small. Otherwise, your thumbnail there is very good. I like some of the elements that you got here. The giant spider thumbnail, that's awesome. You could make giant spider a little easier to read, maybe with a different color. Because right now it's like a two-tone green. You're going to go with one solid color, maybe put a drop shadow on it or something, but make it just a little easier to read to stand out against its background. This one here, yes or no, it's a little unclear what it's about. If it's a thing where, yeah, it looks like what I'm seeing here in the preview when I hover my mouse over, that there is a yes and a no button and the dog can press, that to me would be, having that in the image would be really good. So more so than having the toys, which I guess is what that is. Because I like the cutout of the dog with the smiling and the tongue out. But also, like, if the other part of the image was the dog pressing one of the two buttons, I think that would make a more compelling thumbnail for me personally. Now, I noticed that on the Pretend to Forget My Dog video, your outlines are very effective. The black, the white, they stand out quite well. On the dog answers yes or no, the yellow outline, I don't think it has enough contrast. I don't know that it's working very well. And so the outlines are kind of almost becoming slightly cliche on YouTube. It can still look very good, don't get me wrong. like in this thumbnail over here, the pretend to forget my dog video. But another option is if you do have that sort of transparent PNG, rather than having an outline, you might want to consider a drop shadow to make it pop against the background, and might give it a little bit more of a look, a little bit more subtle than sort of the usual outline. It's just a thought. Cute dog talking video, woof sound. So for this, I would consider, maybe add the word talking dog in the thumbnail somewhere. You could move woof woof up, or you could put talking dog above woof woof, maybe. I don't know. Otherwise, I mean, it's a pretty solid thumbnail. It's a really good picture. But one thing that I notice is a lack of consistency from thumbnail to thumbnail. And so that may or may not be important, but if you want to build a professional brand, let's say, for example, that you would like products, maybe sent to you for free, things like that, or a sponsorship one day. If you have a consistent look where you consistently use maybe this font here, or this font here across your banner and your thumbnails with some consistency, if you have a color element that's consistent, perhaps the purple pink, maybe this kind of yellow here, something that's consistent, then people will very quickly be able to recognize something as yours. If it's in the suggested recommended panel on the right hand side on desktop, for example, they'll be able to see, oh, well, that's clearly more from this person. Or as they're scrolling through YouTube or whatever. An example of this is there's a gamer named Scott the Waz. There's also a travel channel, Toby Ho, I believe the name is. Both of those use very specific design elements consistently in their thumbnails. So Scott the Waz has a blue outline around all of his thumbnails, for example. And so I instantly can recognize a Scott the Waz video when I see it in large search results or my homepage or recommended wherever. And so that might be something you may want to consider, but you may also want to wait until you have a little bit more experience and data to see what thumbnails are working well for you. Of course, I had all that feedback, criticism, whatever you want to call it, for the dog answers yes or no. That's got 1,000 views on it, though, and for your channel, that's a top performer. So maybe you don't necessarily want to mess with that. One thing that you can do if you get Legend Level TubeBuddy is they have something called A/B testing, where you can, without messing up algorithmic momentum, have it go back and forth between two different thumbnails. And then after a minimum period of 10 days, you can get results to see what has a better click-through rate. So you could do some experimentation without risking your video in any way. Another option, when you have maybe a few more videos than you do now, is there's something called the click magnet. And so that will analyze your thumbnails. In fact, I can even show you probably quickly here. Click magnet. This is pretty awesome. Get started. And it does an analysis of your videos to give you some specific feedback about how you can make better thumbnails. I like the element inspector in particular. See, for my channel, my videos that don't have my face do better. I try not to take it personally, and I try to take advantage of that by having, as you can see, more of my videos, 39, don't have my face versus 11 that do. And so, but let's say it says that your face does better. Every channel is different. Every audience is different. My metrics here may not work for you. But let's say yours says, yes, show your face. You can see what emotions people respond better to. So in this case, calm does very well, for example. You can also see sort of whether it should be a long shot, a medium shot, close up, what have you. What gets more clicks? Should you have text or no text? In my channel, definitely text helps. And okay, let's talk text. What words are great? You know, my travel channel, hotel, does pretty well, for example, whereas, how and gate doesn't do great. That kind of stuff I find super, super useful. So that is with the Legend plan. That's, if you don't have Legend, then you might want to consider upgrading to get that. That can be a huge boon there. Let's take a look at the videos. And let's go most popular. So this is very interesting. Dog answers yes or no, has 1,000, and then your very next most popular video has only 47. So that most popular video has been around for 7 months, and that's pretty good performance. That's pretty good. I'm thinking this is maybe a theme. If you can get, like, I'm guessing the dog reviewed the toys. Okay, now can you get the dog to review food? Now can you get the dog to respond to suggestions for activities? Maybe you could be like, oh, you want to go to the vet? Maybe it'll hit no a lot. That'd be very funny. And be like, oh, you want to go for walkies? Yes. Want to go to the park? Yes. Want to go see, Auntie Edna or something? Well, let's find out who the dog likes. That could be very funny. Maybe you could do like a smash or pass. I can't believe I'm suggesting this with your dog, where you like show a picture of another dog and maybe the dog will say yes or no. Like, I think they could do a lot of different iterations of that so you can build upon that success. That's one important thing for YouTubers generally, is when you have something that does well, then you're going to want to consider building on that, doing more of that kind of content. Don't do the exact same thing over and over again, but variations on a theme can do very well. It helps you in the algorithm and with your audience. So there's a lot of potential there. And so when a channel is young and new, you're trying different things, and that's great. And thankfully, it's all in the genre, the niche, the theme of the fluffy dog, which is good. But I think we're already starting to see some elements here. Like if we go into this yes or no video and just take a look. Like even this could be the thumbnail here with some stuff added on. It's like the dog's yelling yes, which is kind of cool. I like that. But anyways, let's see here. You got a bit of a description. You got the 3 hashtags here. You don't need to put commas between the hashtags. Just a space is fine. Hello guys, if you're interested in any topic, please let me know. So again, that was possibly a missed opportunity for a little bit more SEO. You could say something like, what would you like the dog to answer yes or no about in a future video? Something slightly more specific that hits some of the keywords, like that comment could apply to any video. You could put that comment on any video. It doesn't even have the word dog in it. So it could have a little bit more, it could be a little bit more targeted. You might get more responses that way. Jade of all trades. That's somebody in our Facebook group, if I'm not mistaken. So for any of those watching who aren't familiar, you can join our Facebook group, which is facebook.com/groups/small YouTubers boost. We got a whole bunch of resources there called guides that'll help you. We point you to different tools. You might find someone to collaborate with, ask a question, celebrate your success, and commiserate about your frustrations. Strongly recommend it. So what I notice here is there's no info card added. Assuming this is accurate, TubeBuddy's been a little weird about displaying that accurately recently. So you definitely want to go in and add info cards to all your videos and captions. You probably have some spoken words in this video. So what I recommend doing is adding the captions for it. Even if you don't have speaking, you have sounds, presumably. So you could put like barking or sound, fail horn, whatever sounds or words. If there's music, you just put, music. That helps you in the algorithm. And it also helps you because sometimes people are not able to listen to videos. They could be hearing impaired, or they could be somewhere where they're not able to listen to sound. For example, you could be in a doctor's office, or you could be at an airport sometime in the future, of course, waiting for a flight or whatever, and maybe you don't have earbuds or headphones on you, but you got your phone, you got some time to kill, you want to watch a video. That video doesn't have captions. Some other video does. At least that one I can read the captions as it goes. And so I find when I caption a video, it gets between 8 and 11% more views, which might not sound like a lot, but again, as small channels, we need every opportunity and every view we can get. And those things do help with SEO. For example, auto captions. For one thing, a shortcut to do this is go into your captions, and instead of typing it out from scratch, if they've already been automatically captioned, just edit those. But you can correct some errors. Like, what if you said one word and it heard it as something else? And so it's misunderstanding what the video is about. By fixing the error in transcription, you're improving the SEO of your video. So it's tedious work. Thankfully, your videos aren't too terribly long. So for a 3-minute video, that's not a huge investment of time to go and do that, but that can help. And as well, there's chapters haven't been added. If you want to know how to add chapters, you can look at one of my recent videos on this channel or on Vacation Impossible. It's really easy. It's just in the description. You just have to have the time codes, and it automatically does the rest. I might make a tutorial about that coming soon. So subscribe and let me know in the comments if that's something you want us to make. But that helps a couple of ways. One, it helps people navigate through the video. And so if somebody might be like, oh, the introduction's taking too long, I want to cut to the interesting part, and they can't, then they're probably just going to go to a different video. But if chapters enable them to navigate that way, they can. Also, they might be able to go back and rewatch the parts they really like, share it with friends that way, all sorts of things. You could increase your watch time In fact, you might be you could get watch time above 100% if they're going back and rewatching parts. So chapters are good for that. The other half of why chapters is good is that it forces you to, in the description, put more keywords, because you need to you got to label those chapters. So if it's like, polar bear toy, elephant toy, ducky toy, maybe those are your chapter headings for this video. Now those words are in the description, and so maybe that might help improve it appear when people are searching those terms. Let's see how you're ranking on the search terms here. And so again, this is your successful video. What are we seeing here? We're seeing an end screen's been added. Comments have been hearted and pinned. It's been shared on Facebook and liked there. And you've got a lot of tags. You probably maxed out your tags. Good going. And you've ranked on a lot of them. So you need to do these things on all your videos. And it's part of the struggle of YouTube is that it won't always work. It's not a magic wand. It's not a light switch. It's not like putting a hammer to a nail. So even when you do all these things, there is elements of what you could call luck or chance. And you can, mitigate how much is luck by doing research on different keywords, but you need to do this for all of your videos because who knows what video is going to get people to start watching your channel and then maybe get hooked watching other stuff and suddenly they're binging and it's all fantastic. 371 likes on Facebook, so this has been shared very effectively on Facebook, whether by you or by your audience, and so that's great. Similar sharing on Reddit is a good idea. Reproduce that experience on Reddit. And then I'm going to guess it probably hasn't been tweeted about. So go ahead and tweet about it. These are some little things. You've got a really good like to dislike ratio on this video. I'm imagining you've got a really good retention. So this is like a pillar of your channel right now. And so I'm thinking doubling down, using some of the similar sharing and tagging tactics and making videos of a similar subject and certain keywords. I strongly recommend. So I think that brings us towards the end of this channel review. I hope you've got a decent amount of action items in there. There were some specific things, some sentences I helped write for you, some tags I suggested, and some things there as well. So you can feel free to use those and let us know how it goes. Come back in 6 months and let us know. Comment below how it worked. A fellow Canadian. So happy to help you out. I wish you the best of luck. I hope your channel does well in the future. And I hope some of these tips are helpful for you. And for everybody who's watching, if you found this helpful, if you found a tip that you're going to go implement on your channel, give it a like. Let us know in the comments. What did you like? What would you like to hear more about? Is there a tutorial? Do you want me to go in depth into some of these tips? Let us know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe. Turn notifications on. Maybe you'll catch us in the next live stream. Maybe you'll get a free channel review. If you're interested in a paid channel review like this one, it basically costs the cost of 2 combos at your local fast food place. I don't set a dollar amount because it depends on my availability. It might fluctuate a little. And you can contact me through Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, direct message, whatever, if that's something that you're interested in arranging, and we can figure something out. So thanks so much for watching this channel review, everybody, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.